Hello everybody, my name is Kara, and today I am here with the Pixar Book Tag. This tag was originally created by Matt from This Is Me, and I will link his original video down below. I was tagged by Ali from Ali K and Sung from Pages and Prose, and I will link both of them down below as well. Question number 1. Cars. Name a book in which the characters go on a long physical journey. That is Graceling by Kristen Kishore. Now, I'm not a big fan of road tripping in general. I get kind of bored when characters are just making camp and walking and crossing mountains and sleeping and just building a fire like over and over and over again. But Graceling was so good and the characters were so interesting that I didn't even mind it. There's a big chunk of this book that is taken up by travel and totally didn't bother me, so highly recommend. Question number 2, Inside Out. Name a book about the mind. And I'm going with The Atlantis Complex by Owen Colfer. This is the 7th book in the Artemis Fowl series, and I'll be upfront and say that I'm sure there are books that handle mental illness much better than this one, because it's sort of a subplot in this book, but this was the first book that really made me feel like I saw my own mind in another character. Because in this book, the main character develops OCD and similar sort of symptoms as a result of this other thing that I'm not going to get into. And while the book overall is still like a comedy adventure story, and this book gets a lot of crap from fans of the series for being kind of ridiculous, and it totally is, but there's this one part in particular near the beginning of the book where Artemis is realizing that he's developing some kind of issue. And as he's clicking a knob exactly 20 times, he's sort of panicking because he's realizing that this isn't something he had to do before. He knows that something has changed in his mind that he's not okay with and he's afraid of. And he says to himself, tomorrow I'm going to break this habit, but today I'm going to do it because it makes me feel better. And I just remember reading that part and connecting so viscerally with it, because that's sort of the mindset that I had when I was like obsessing over things, or when I like had to go and wash my hands again, and you know, things like that. And even though I'm in a much better place now with things like that, I'm never going to forget the book that made me realize I'm not the only one, that one of my favorite characters could have this happen to them and they're still important and interesting and fun. That was a really heavy answer for a tag question, and I'm sorry. Question number 3 is Monsters, Inc. Who or what is your most lovable book creature? And for me, that is the Mistmakers from The Secret of Platform 13 by Eva Ibbotson. This is a wonderful little fantasy book, and I highly recommend all of Eva Ibbotson's middle grade or younger adult novels. So far, have not enjoyed her adult books, but she does a great job with younger characters and more fantastical stories. And in this book, there's these little critters called Mistmakers, and basically they are extra fluffy baby seals who love music, and they are just the most adorable things you can even imagine. Number 4 is Finding Nemo. Who's the best book dad? And I'm going with Julie Baker's dad from Flipped by Wendelin Van Draanen. He gives Julie advice, and he definitely looks out for her when she's making decisions that maybe would hurt her down the road. But he also understands that she's still like her own person even though she's young, and he's just the most like generous and kind and hardworking, and the way he takes care of his family is just so important. Number 5 is Brave. Who's the best book mum? I am going with Meg from The Wrong Side of Right by Jen Marie Thorne. Now, Meg is actually the stepmother of the main character, but she is so wonderful. She welcomes Kate into her home even though she's the daughter of her husband and this woman he had an affair with. Like in a lot of media, Meg would be like the wicked stepmother, you know, she'd be the villain and she'd be just awful to Kate because of what she represents, and that never happens. Meg's reactions always feel realistic because she is a little thrown by having this girl in her house and, you know, kind of messing up her like perfect family. But she never blames Kate because she knows it's not her fault. And she's just so loving and supportive and intelligent, and she also treats Kate like she's intelligent and like she's worthy of being part of their family. I didn't mean to pick both parents from contemporary novels, but there are really not a lot of parents in fantasy books. Number 6 is Toy Story, a book from your childhood that you think every kid should read. And my answer for that one is the Charlie Bone series by Jenny Nemo. This is the first book, Midnight for Charlie Bone. This series came out a few years after the Harry Potter series started being published, and it really suffered from that whole publishing strategy that's like, this is the new Harry Potter. Because no, it's not. It's about a boy who goes to a magical boarding school, but that's pretty much it. Like, yes, it's in England and there's magic and there's a school, but those are just plot elements that are frankly shared by a lot of books, and I feel like I love Harry Potter, but I feel like comparing it to this book, it sort of does both of the series a disservice because it makes Harry Potter seem like a thing that's very easy to replicate, and it also doesn't let this book stand on its own. And the cast of characters is so wonderful, and Bloor's Academy as a school is definitely not Hogwarts. It's like twisted and evil, but there are still things that are worth saving about it. On the surface, they seem lighter and more fun and, you know, not as stressful. But if you really start thinking about some of the implications for this world and just like thinking about what's actually happening, they're actually pretty dark throughout. Number 7 is The Incredibles. If you could have any superpower or ability, what would it be and why? And I would want to have the ability to instantly teleport anywhere I wanted to go. It would make traveling so much more fun and exciting because that's something that I always think I want to do, but the stress of actually getting there and the expense and all of that, I feel like if I could just like snap my fingers and be anywhere in the world I wanted to be at that second, I would have so many more possibilities. Like, I could go on trips for fun, I could get a job like in Italy or something and then be back in time for dinner, and it would just be, it would be really fun and exciting. Maybe for boring reasons, but that's my answer. Number 8 is Ratatouille. Name a fictional food you would want to eat. And I'm going with the goblin fruit from Christina Rossetti's Goblin Market poems. And this could kind of count for any book or story where like fairy fruit or fairy food is discussed, because the way it's described is just so alluring. It's supposed to taste like all of these like intangible things like sunlight and rain and winter and just all of these magical sounding things, and the experience is supposed to be so like life-changing and incredible that I want to try it. But specifically, I would want to be able to try it without getting enchanted by it, because the whole point of goblin fruit or fairy fruit is that once you eat it, you crave it so much that you can't eat anything else and you basically waste away and die. So I want to try it, but not that badly. I'm gonna cheat and put that caveat on it. And number 9 is Coco, a book with an international setting. And for that one, I'm choosing A Time to Dance by Padma Venkatraman. This is one of my favorite books I've ever read, and it totally snuck up on me. This book is set in modern day India, and we follow a girl who is injured in a really terrible car crash, and she is forced to have one of her legs amputated. And she's a dancer, and that's the most important thing in her life, and it's what she wants to do for forever. And it's heartbreaking because she thinks she's never going to be able to dance again. And we follow her throughout the book as she starts to realize that might not be true, and that she maybe can find a way to still achieve that dream, and she'll just have to do it in a different way. And there is tons of hardship along the way. It's not an easy path for her, but I loved this book so much. Okay everybody, so that was the Pixar Book Tag. Thank you again, Ali and Sung, for tagging me. This was a lot of fun, and once again, I'm going to tag everyone who sees this and who wants to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you soon with another video, and I hope you love the next book you read. Bye!